I guess Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. This weekend was such a nice weekend for Tracy and I. My sister was actually in from out of town, so we were able to spend pretty much the entire weekend with her and our little nieces. So that was very, very needed for our souls to just be able to laugh and to giggle and to have fun with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old that don't care about money, that don't care about other things, that just love having fun. And that's been something that for us has been a really big struggle since we left town and started off on this venture of, living in a camper, then buying this property and doing all that stuff. It's just been really hard for us to manage being able to have fun still. Like that part of the balance, that's basically when we have so many things lined up that we have to get done, that's the first thing that gets cut off is having fun, having enjoyment, having leisure time and relaxing time. So on Friday, we actually lit a bonfire after we got a whole bunch of work done. So that was really nice to be able to sit with some friends around the bonfire. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we went up to my parents' house both days because my sister was up there with the girls. We had family functions going on, and it was really nice. Like something about just playing with little kids, like, and just like feeling all of that joy and just allowing yourself to just be free and just giggle. Like it just so healing, absolutely powerful. But anyways, so I've actually not been feeling the greatest because of being outside so much over the weekend, and it was pretty much like in the 90s-ish and in full sun in my parents' backyard the entire weekend. So that wasn't very fun. Today it's supposed to be pretty hot. The next several days are supposed to be hot. So it's just kind of hard for me. I struggle quite a bit with heat intolerance, so it's kind of sketchy. But so I wanted to show you guys what I got done on Friday. So on Friday, I finished siding the barn here, this little shed here, and then I also worked on painting it. So I was going to just do this back side and then this side here with the siding on it. But then once I moved all of the junk from the back side of the shed, I realized that it was in far worse shape than I had anticipated. So it got some siding too. So that actually took substantially longer to work on because I had to move, as you guys have seen in previous videos. This has kind of like been a catch-all over in here. It's nice because it's behind the house. It's, not visible from the road. That's something that's hard for me with this property is pretty much everything that we have that's cleared out is completely visible from the road. And since there's not storage here, it just to me looks really bad. So I've just always been like, don't look there, don't look here, don't look at this. But so I got to get over that because like reality of it is since we want to be leaving and want to be moving, we have to get stuff cleared up. We have to get things moved around. We have to get things shuffled. And I just have to get more comfortable with people coming and seeing our property and stuff. I think that's just what happens when you buy a place that is such a major fixer-upper that comes with nothing but trash and junk everywhere. And you're just trying to be rudely frugal and keep hold of basically anything that could be used for future projects. Like all of the metal roofing that I got from a friend. That stuff is something that most people would have thrown away, but for me, I was like, I don't care that it's got some holes in it. Like, this is the perfect type of project for something like that. Making animal enclosures, things of that nature, chicken tractors, things like that, that it doesn't matter if there's pinholes in it or small little holes, because it's just, at this point, making this look nicer. But so some of the stuff is actually going to stay here, like this ridiculously heavy cast iron sink. I'm not moving that. That takes like 2 people and a lot of Advil to move that big heavy thing. We are planning on actually taking that with us whenever we find our forever home because I really love these big old cast iron sinks, and it was just sitting next to the house when we bought the place, so I was really super jazzed about it. I had hoped that we'd use it in a renovation project here, but it ended up not flowing with anything. Plus it was really, really, really heavy. I would guess that it's probably around 150 to 200 pounds. Like it is ridiculously hard to move. But so anyways, that's going to be used in a future project, probably when we make an outdoor kitchen at the next property, or it might be used as a kitchen sink. I don't really know. I just know that I love it, so I'm going to keep it. But so other things that we ended up doing, or not doing, but stacking up is I've got everything over here more organized. I've got a pile here of lattice that I got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. And then that ladder there needs to be scrapped. And then I have some plastic containers here that will eventually be used to make like raised bed garden spaces. That might be something that I do before we leave here, is I might actually fill them with dirt and seed them with stuff like lettuces, kale, different brassicas, stuff like that, that's going to do well for, the cooler months and things of that nature. So you guys noticed me looking off into the distance while we were gone over the weekend. One of our favorite chickens actually got murdered by a falcon. It was pretty sad, pretty upsetting, because she actually had like a dozen chicks with her. And Big Bird is one of our oldest birds that has been reliably, basically she's an incubator. She was a Silkie that this year she had hatched out, I think, 6 different clutches of eggs already. So it's just really devastating for us to lose such an important member of our farm. But also, you know, she was really docile and like one of our first ones. So it's kind of been upsetting. But I keep hearing the falcon making screeching sounds and stuff. So it's kind of heartbreaking because you really can't do anything. But so anyways, the front of the shed, I did paint it all. I was going to take the time to do white trim around there, but I think honestly, this shed is something that future owners are probably just going to have removed and tore down. I just didn't want it to be a big eyesore anymore because from the road, seeing the brownish reddish color doesn't really flow with the nice color of the house. So the other things that we got done, I gotta get out of the sun. It is way too hot. The other things that I got done on Friday was I figured out what was wrong with the mower. I replaced the part that we thought was potentially bad, and it didn't fix the mower. So then I did a bunch more deep diving and digging around on it, and I found that basically where the power comes from the engine, and there's like a cord or whatever, technical terms are definitely not my strong suit. But there was a line that had got disconnected at the connection point. The last time I had mowed and the mower stopped working, I was actually taking it through this little hill here. So I think what had happened, since there's not a cap thingy on the mower, like over the engine, I think that some of the brambles and the blackberries over here actually grabbed a hold of the electrical line and ripped it out. But so I ended up fixing all that, putting it all back together, and I was able to get a good part of the yard mowed. And this is seriously where Tracy and I's luck comes into play. I got a good part of it mowed over by, really guys? Gotta walk away. I got a good part of the yard mowed. Basically, the main area where it looked the worst at, over by where we burn at, it was like a foot tall. So I got all of that mowed, and then I heard this word, and I looked down and the mower's not working right. Freaking belt blew off. Ripped up into pieces and stuff. It didn't rip it into pieces. It ripped it like long ways. So it was like the belt was trying to become two belts. So Tracy pretty much banned me from mowing anymore until we get a new belt put on. So that's kind of a pain in the butt that happened that way. But it ended up working out fine because the rest of the yard, since it is closer to the barn, the ducks and the geese and the chickens, they forage a lot in that area of the grass. So the grass doesn't really get as tall. So that is kind of a win-win there. Plus two, with us being in a drought, I didn't really want to mow the whole grass anyway, so that just gave me a good excuse to be like, can't mow. So, but we'll get that fixed at some point this week. But it's supposed to be really hot like all week long, so we're back to doing the ice bottles for the rabbits and fans for the goats and running in and out and checking all the waters and doing all the things. So it's just it is what it is. But so anyways, that's it for today. I'm actually going to go back inside and relax in the air conditioning because I'm still not feeling that great from getting so overheated and so hot over the weekend. So, and like I said, today it's also really hot. So thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.